All right, this is Michael Ferguson from the Pacific Northwest Palm Society here with Rudi Pinkowski, former president and, well, I think that's probably your best
Member
role.
for a long time.
Ambassador, Goodwill Ambassador. So we're here in his backyard. You can see the beautiful setting with the pool, and he had this pool built. He had all this natural stone added in. And as you can see, Rudi, when did you plant most of these palms? Back in the 80s,
Yeah,
roughly?
yeah, it was the beginning of the 80s,
80s.
I would say.
So
yeah.
most are over 40 years old. And he's got some yuccas that are growing like crazy and lots of fantastic companion plants. So this is kind of like one of our favorite places to come and visit.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of the reason I landscaped it this way, I always believed the garden, a lot of people have a garden, there's more square footage in a garden than inside the house.
Yeah.
But they don't use the outside.
Yeah.
It's so nice, and we got fairly long summers here. You can, an outdoor dinner, an outdoor garden party beats any indoor party.
Yeah.
And so I was designing, or my idea was to design it as a living space, the garden. You know, you have chairs, you have barbecue set up, and lounges, so you can use it, and it invites people to the outside. Yeah. And so the landscaping went along with that, bit more sort of the, well, I was thinking of the Mediterranean or more tropical look where people live outside a lot. When you go to Italy, for example, you see the public parks are loaded with people. And, people talk to each other and all that stuff. So that's what I did. And they also, these kind of trees keep it open. They have usually trunks, interesting trunks, trunk formations. And so that keeps it open. People can see each other, can talk to each other, and most trees form sort of a canopy effect.
Well, that's why we're here as well. Why don't we go over and have a look at your Paulownia, your favorite tree? Because I know that's anchoring the corner of your garden, and we can't really see it from over here. So if we go over there and have a look at it, we can show everyone your lovely view. We're at his home here in North Vancouver. Nice sunny day in September. And today we're going to talk about one of his favorite plants in his garden, this beautiful Paulownia tree. And Rudi, I believe you got this in the mid-early 70s, maybe late 70s, 40 or 50 years ago. Tell me a little bit, what made you want to buy this tree? And
well, when I bought it, it was only about 5 feet high or 6 feet.
So not even your height.
Yeah. And I just fell in love with the foliage. Had very large leaves.
Yeah.
And somehow, right from the beginning, I was part of the society, and we were talking about Mediterranean gardens.
Did you have palms in your garden already?
Yeah.
You did, okay.
Yeah. And so I was going to go more for a lush type, tropical looking garden. So I selected plants that have beautiful large foliage and all that.
Yeah.
And this was one of them.
Right.
It has, right from the start, big foliage. And it looks like it must be a lot of work to maintain this and so on. No, I don't prune it. It develops the tropical look of a canopy.
Yeah.
And but it doesn't need any pruning. There may be one sucker come out in a year in one of the branches.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah. And so there's not a lot of maintenance, but you need a fairly large garden.
Yeah.
But not really necessary, because in this case they grow fairly tall, and you get the canopies at the higher elevation.
Rudi, I noticed that there's a sucker coming out. How does it send out a lot of suckers, this tree?
No, only maybe 1 or 2 a year.
Okay.
And you can let it grow and it will develop another canopy down the road.
I notice it goes straight up though. Do you prefer, you like the canopy?
Yeah, I would not go straight up forever. They
Right.
always kind of eventually level horizontal more or less. And
do you let any of the suckers ever grow, or is this all pruned?
the third canopy we can see from here.
Okay.
We can go around after and take a look at it. That is going east.
Yeah.
And well, it started off as a sucker, and I just let it grow, and it's forming another canopy now.
Fabulous.
The canopy is I never pruned, never touched any of that, the branching or foliage.
Right.
It just naturally develops canopies.
Yeah.
And at the higher level, so your garden is often below that, and even if it's a very big, large tree, you can grow it here. And it makes the garden look more tropical because of the large foliage that all the branches are exposed.
Yeah.
They're usually clean of foliage and all
Right.
that.
So very low maintenance and next to no pruning. 1 or 2 prunes a year and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. The pruning is just to cut off 1 or 2 of the suckers that may come out here or there.
Okay. And I know we're going to go up and have a look at the trunk, and because that's one of your favorite features. So maybe we'll go up and have a look at the base of the tree.
Yeah, it definitely is my favorite tree in the garden, and even ahead of the palms.
Okay. I always like to think of this that looks like a dinosaur. It looks like the foot of a T-Rex planted in your garden. So it really adds to that kind of exotic look. So when you planted it here as a 5-foot tree, clearly you had no idea it was going to grow into your stairs or do what it's doing.
Yeah, at that time it had a trunk that was maybe 1.5 inches thick, you know.
Right.
So it has grown fairly quickly, and just I love the growth habit of this tree. The sheer size of it, and then the twisty branches. And I never pruned it. I never had to train anything. It's growing the 3rd canopy now. They always end up in forming a canopy. By the way.
And I see it's growing like, is that moss or lichen? What is that actually that's growing on the side of it?
That's moss. This I don't know. There's that in here, but I let this all grow.
Right.
I wanted to look as natural as possible. That this tree has not really seen any pruning whatsoever. And it fits almost into any garden because the canopies develop well above the ground.
And you really get a sense of the canopy here and how far over it goes.
Yeah, yeah. And there's hardly a branch that goes straight out there. All have some character to it. And the trunk is starting here,
so
and how it twists up here.
And I noticed
look down here, and then turns up and over.
And this is the theme of your garden with all the, pretty much even all your rhodos. You thin them out, you let them show off their natural branches, and you've done the same thing. This one grows right into the rhodos, in and through it. And everything's clean and open. I love the effect. I don't
let plants grow into each other. That takes it away of both plants basically. Yeah. So that's the only pruning I ever do. Maybe take a branch out for not from the Paulownia. The Paulownia, but I will take that branch off because there's only 1 branch that grew this year. It will develop another canopy, but I just want to keep it at 3 canopies.
Right.
And the 3rd one is just in the development stage right over there.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's a very unique tree.
All right, we're up here on the deck, and as you can see behind us here, this plant looks like it's about to flower, Rudi, which is quite exciting because I think you said it's only flowered once before. Is that right?
It has grown flower buds and all that, but not the flower itself.
Right.
The thing is, it is sort of a subtropical plant.
Yeah.
And it has never had any damage here, the plant itself, the bark or the entire plant, except flowering. Only once did it flower.
Yeah.
And I had 3 or 4 flowers, very impressive. They're probably 3 feet high, the flowers, on one heavy stem. And it's like chestnut trees, solid.
Well, we've all got our fingers crossed that it decides to open up, because if it does, this will be
I got so many buds this year, so
yes.
I really hope that it will open up a few of them.
Yeah. We can also see
let you know.
You let us know, because we'll come back and get some shots. You can also see the 3 effects of the canopy, the 3 arms that are coming out. One up here, one up at the top, and then the other one is just over the back of the roof.
Yeah, the 3rd one is just 1 canopy at a time. The tall one was vertical, and it's opened up first. Then this one behind us here opened second.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2 years later or so. And now the tree is working on the 3rd canopy facing east. And that's starting to develop now. But I don't prune these ever. This is just a natural effect. They naturally grow that way. And a lot of trees in the tropics, you see them as canopies. It's not that people are just going, they're just going crazy pruning all their trees. No, a lot of the tropical trees grow naturally into canopies to give, I guess, shade to whatever is below. And it opens up the parks and gardens. People can see each other. That's when you go to Italy or any places like that. the parks are full of benches and full of people.
Yeah.
They all see each other, talk to each other, and all that stuff. They're not dark gardens or so.
Yeah. Well,
and this is a tree that suits
yeah.
that
Well,
style.
thanks for having us in your garden today. I know you're very proud. This is like one of your children, a very large child.
Absolutely.
But,
I got probably about 20 palms in this garden, but this is my favorite tree.
yeah, that's saying something for
for a Palm
garden.
Society member.
For Palm Society member, yeah. You're tied to palms in our city, but your favorite plant is the Paulownia. So
but,
very nice.